Welcome to the sessions on leadership for everyone, everywhere. And I'm looking at male leadership, and specifically I'm looking today at leading the man or husband or lover, leading your wife. So the topic is leading your wife. And I am going to do two things. First, some ground rules and truths in leading your wife. If I'm able to finish them within the time, I will go on to the 7 ways to be a super husband. 7 ways to be a super husband in leading your wife. If I'm not able to make it, I will do them in 2 sessions. Hakuna Matata, why rush? So, some ground rules or home truths regarding leading your wife. And I'm speaking specifically from the Christian perspective. I want to make that one clear. Number 1, rule number 1, recognize that you are both made in the image of God. It's very, very important. That should change your attitude. That the man and the woman were made in the image of God. And Galatians 3:28 is clear. In Christ, there's neither male nor female. My wife and I are very particular about this because that sets a different tone in your home. And therefore, the positive side, that you don't have to struggle to show that you are a man. That is the worst part. And most men are trying to prove that they are the men, and unfortunately, oftentimes their wives are smarter and more intelligent and therefore feel frustrated, especially since women tend to have higher level of intuition. They are able to see through things quicker, even though the man with his logical reasoning may be able eventually to arrive with all the details. Please, it's just simple. God created male and female in his image. In the image of God, he created them male and female. That's how the Bible puts it in Genesis 1:28. Therefore, a man shall leave his father and mother and cleave to his one. And the 1.5? No, the 2 shall become what? One flesh. Imagine in the Bible, Nabal had been one with his wife, Abigail. What a peace and joy. He would have lived longer than having a heart attack because he heard that David was coming after him. That is the ground rule number 1. You respect your wife, and of course the wife should submit and respect the husband. But at this, we are on the male leadership, the ground rule 1. Ground rule 2, I like this one. You are joint heirs, inheritors, joint heirs. H-E-I-R-S. That's 1 Peter 3:7. In other words, the good things God has given in your marriage, you are both to be the inheritors and enjoyers. If there's a word like enjoyers. That is very, very important. You are to make sure that you will take your marriage as a joint project. If God blesses you with the children, as a joint project. Joint heirs of the good things of God. Co-regents of God's. The third that streams from the 1 and 2 ground rule is that you are equal. Many a time people have a difficulty understanding equality in essence and differences in position. For example, in the university, I did economics, BS economics, except that maybe we economists were smarter. The engineers did BS engineering in 4 years. I'm kidding. But at the end of the day, what the academics are saying that whether you did history or geography, engineering, you have reached a certain level of intellectual maturity. All of you are given what? Bachelor degrees. So they are equal degrees. It doesn't mean that if you did engineering, you earn more. In fact, oftentimes those who did economics and accounting earn more. The engineers are crying, why did they earn more when we suffered more with this physics and calculus and integration and the rest? No. That's the rule number 3. If you are going to lead your wife well. The fourth rule is that you are not just equal, but complementary. You complete each other. And in fact, let me go back. The fourth should be you are equal but different. And the fifth is that you complete each other. Let me tell you, men and women are equal human beings, equal in sin, equal in redemption, and everywhere. However, they are different. The scientists tell me that there are over 2,000 differences between male and female, physically, psychologically, the way they react, and even in their spiritual orientation. Any woman, and I will come there later when we are talking about leading your husband, who thinks they are equal with men and period, is going to be frustrated. Every month, your physical body changes, the man continues going. On the average, he's physically stronger, and on and on and on. But the man should also learn that he is different, and the wife in some areas will be much more superior. He has a higher level of intuition. They are much more plastic. That's why on the average, all things being equal, men are likely to get mad more often than women. We are equal but different. But the good thing is that God created us that our differences complete each other. The way the men think and the way the woman thinks, our sex organs, everything else was made that we will complete each other so that the two can become one. If you have these grand roots of being made in the image of God, joint heirs, equal, different, but completing each other, you learn to respect each other. You learn to adore and appreciate one another, and your leadership as a man will be complete. Let me go on to again, in the marriage as in the parenting. Your leadership is a team leadership. And in the team, say Black Star is playing, the captain doesn't mean that he's super than others. But if there's no captain, there will be what? Chaos. And any team without a captain will lose. Because oftentimes in the field, the captain is giving instruction. He says, John, he makes a sign. You go to the outer one so that this one can pass it to you. Even when there's a duet, two people playing table tennis against their opponents, one of them has to be appointed what? A leader. But they may be equally good. The reason is that what happens if the ball is coming between the two of them? The leader has to give instruction who is to hit it. Why? Because they have their bats hitting each other and giving the opponents free win. So let us remember that when you are leading your spouse, your wife, you are better off to acknowledge that you are made in the image of God. Each one has dignity and must be respected. You are joint heirs, you are equal, you are different, you complete each other, and you are in a team leadership. Your leadership is not the commander-in-chief and the others being the slaves or the foot soldiers to be directed. And it makes life easy for you. That means that you can delegate easily. Honey, in this area, I'm hopeless. Please, can you help? And of course, he will recognize the other. That is why I like Gray's book, Men Are Made on Mars and Women on Venus. And therein lies the key of leading your wife. And that is number 6, you must live with your wife with knowledge. In other words, you must deliberately seek to understand your wife because she is different from you. You can't lead whom you do not know. And therefore, in leading your wife, you must know her, study her strengths, her weaknesses, her likes, and her dislikes. That is necessary for you to be able to provide effective leadership to your spouse. Last but one, your wife will always come to your house already mature. You are likely to be of the same age. Sometimes she may be even older. She has gotten a lot of experiences different from you. So, if you try to bully her, well, in most cultures, she will just keep quiet and say, obey before you complain, and obey. But you have lost the best part of your marriage and your relationship. No. The biblical word, which I love so much, is to nurture her. In other words, create an atmosphere within your relationship for her to blossom, supporting her and encouraging her and letting her to become, as Oswald Chambers would put it, her utmost for his highest. And if you nurture your wife, as you will see in the parable of the sower, he will yield you 160 or 30-fold what you spend in nurturing her. Of course, every now and then there will be the Jezebel, the incorrigible wife. But the normal woman has been created to be responsive to right stimuli. And you are responsible for that. In that regard, I love what Proverbs 31:10 about the noble woman, the role of the husband. He said the husband trusts in her. Learn to trust. Please, if you are schooled in the foolish tradition which I was brought up, say that fear woman and grow old, drop it. your wife generally is very trustworthy and protective of your image. Even when you fail, she goes out there and tries to be proud of her husband, even when you have not given her the cause to be proud. She bears your name, Mrs. So and so. Please, your wife has an interest in your success normally. And stop the competition and the trying to dominate. And the second is that in nurturing, he says he appreciates and praises her. I like the biblical word. It says that her children rises up early, and the husband too, and says that many women have done excellently, but you excel them all. Women live on the praise of their husband, acknowledgement of their contribution. The final one, and here I'm not being original, I am quoting William F. Haley in his book, His Needs, Her Needs. In all this, you will be better off to understand her needs and go out of your way to try to meet them the best that you can. Of course, he has listed some generic ones, but they will differ a bit from woman to woman. For example, my wife, the best woman God made, will not fit any pattern of the woman I know, including my mother. She didn't like sweet things. The idea, he wanted to be as natural as possible and simple. She was so beautiful probably because anything she put on fitted her and made her look so gorgeous. He didn't like to paint her face, her mouth, and the rest. Never did I see her color her fingernails and the rest. I'm not saying that those who do it are to be blamed. But that was almost like, she lived like almost another man. So if you have your preconceived idea of what a woman is, so that on Valentine's Day you go and buy chocolates for her, she will only have a bite or two, and the rest will be in the fridge. She passed on 6 months ago in the fridge. Some of a small 72% pure chocolate I bought for her in Valentine last year is still in the fridge. Totally unlike others. So knowing your wife is so important. Know her as a person. But Williard says that there are certain generic things about women which you must as well note. He mentions 5 of them. Affection. Your woman wants to see you be affectionate. We are talking about non-sexual touch, kind words. This is what he expects from the husband. Second, women generally like to converse with their husbands. Conversation, quietly, quality talk, feeling that you value her views and the rest. The third is that he feels respected and honored when you are honest and open with her. Many men, when they are suffering, they think that, man, you don't tell your wife that you are broke. In the same way, when they get a fortune, they want to hide it. No. Please, man, be honest and transparent, and your wife will trust you. Then he wants you to make sure that the family's financial needs are met. These days and age, it doesn't mean that the man is going to earn more than the woman. But the management of the family resources. Oftentimes, most women were entrusted to their husbands, and don't let them down, because for them, family financial security is important. And then, of course, he wants to see you to be committed to the family that the family comes, she comes first, the children comes first, second, before your job, before what other people think about you, even your position in the church. If you are not pastor, because if you are a pastor, that is your work, job. It's so important. Affection, conversation, honesty and openness, financial support, and family commitment. I believe that if we follow these ground rules, most women will be like the Ghanaian high life singer. It says, Midaho mawara mijore, Midaho mawankusin. In other words, she will be available to you and do her utmost for your joy. The next episode, I'll be dealing with 7 steps to be a super husband. Please don't forget that always 8:30 a.m. you can listen to this same series on ZFM 101.9. ZFM 101.9. And if you miss it, look for me on YouTube, Emeritus Professor Stephen Adei. Shalom.